Have you ever actually stopped to look, really look at that little cylinder or screen just sitting there quietly on your kitchen counter? You know, we ask it for the weather, we tell it to set a timer for our pasta, but sitting right there in our homes is literally a gateway to this immense, largely unseen world of technological complexity. Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us. Today we're diving into a really fascinating piece of source material. It's one that tries to bridge the gap between that unassuming device in your house and the absolute monumental engineering behind it. We're going to be exploring the architectural genesis of Amazon Alexa. Okay, so let's jump right into this. Just think about these two words for a second. Architectural genesis. I mean, these aren't your typical light, breezy buzzwords, right? These are heavy. They're origin-focused words that immediately grab your attention. They don't just say, hey, here's how we built a smart speaker. No, they suggest a monumental, almost mythic feat of engineering. When you come across phrasing like this in source material, it sets this immediate expectation. It promises a deep structural unveiling of how something profoundly complex actually came into existence.
That brings us to our first section, the architectural genesis, deconstructing the source.
Now, to truly grasp the impact of our source material today, we've got to look pretty closely at the exact phrasing it uses. The text we're looking at is incredibly brief, but honestly, because it's so short, every single word is doing some serious, heavy lifting. So we're going to start a bit of a deconstructive arc right now to break down the exact, highly deliberate phrasing the author chose. Look at this. Excerpts from The Architectural Genesis of Amazon Alexa. Seeing it laid out like this really highlights the tone. It's super formal, it's highly technical. Just by reading that title, you're mentally gearing up for this rigorous academic or industry-level deep dive, right? You're expecting complex blueprints, algorithmic breakdowns, basically a complete masterclass in how a modern tech giant constructs artificial intelligence from the ground up. Let's actually break that down even a step further. When we use the word architectural in the tech world, we're talking about structural design on a massive scale. Sure, we're talking about hardware blueprints, but it's also about those invisible, highly complex software frameworks that are absolutely required for a system this advanced to run seamlessly. It implies that Alexa isn't just, a simple piece of code. It's a fully constructed environment. It's this incredibly carefully balanced ecosystem of cloud computing, voice recognition, and machine learning architectures, all built layer upon layer. And then we hit the second half of that phrase, genesis. Now, this word completely shifts our focus over to the concept of absolute beginnings. We're talking point zero, an origin point. Genesis carries the sheer gravity of creating a brand new intelligent system from absolute scratch. It kind of brings to mind that exact moment a spark becomes a fire. Or, in this context, the exact moment raw data and raw computing power were first structured into a responsive, seemingly intelligent entity. Put them together, and architectural genesis promises you the ultimate origin story of modern consumer tech.
Which leads us to section 2, the core question, the consumer reality.
So get ready, because we're about to pivot sharply away from that grandiose, highly technical title to the actual substance of the excerpt we have. The contrast here is wild, and it's exactly what makes this specific text so incredibly fascinating to unpack. Check this out. How does Amazon make Alexas? That's it. That is the absolute entirety of the remaining text from our source material. That highly formal architectural genesis setup immediately gives way to this remarkably colloquial, totally everyday language. Did you notice the pluralization there? Alexas. It treats this massively complex, cloud-based AI like it's a batch of cookies rolling off an assembly line. It's just such a specific, purely consumer-facing question. We go from this epic, mythic origin story straight to the simplest, most direct question a user could possibly ever ask. And you want to know the most incredible part? The source material just ends right there. It completely leaves this ultimate question hanging. And by doing that, it profoundly juxtaposes the illusion of simple consumer magic with the reality of this immense engineering complexity. It leaves us all with a pretty provocative thought to chew on. The very next time you speak to that glowing ring in your living room, ask yourself, do we really comprehend the architectural genesis sitting right in front of us? Or are we forever just going to be stuck wondering, how do they make them? Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer. I really hope it sparked your curiosity to look just a little bit deeper at the everyday tech hiding in plain sight around you.